Hi, and thanks for joining me today. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 4 in the Message Bible says this: God comes alongside of us when we go through hard times. And then before you know it, He brings us alongside someone else who is going through hard times so that we can be there for that person just as God was there for us. I love that verse because it talks about purpose in pain. One of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life is Vietnam veteran Dave Reaver. I first met Dave when I was a teenager. I was about 15 years of age, and he was traveling around the country at that time, and he was sharing his incredible story. And he came to my home church, and while in Vietnam, if you don't know his story, Dave was horribly injured when a phosphorus grenade exploded in his hand while he had his hand next to his head. He was getting ready to throw it. And a shot was fired and exploded the grenade right next to the side of his head. It blew off his fingers, it blew off his ear, his nose, the side of his head, and the incredible heat from that phosphorus grenade left him completely burned over most of his body and disfigured beyond recognition. And so it required literally scores of surgeries to put him back together again. And it was a miracle that he lived. But every day of his life, since that moment, Dave Reaver has lived with pain. I can still remember two of Dave's quotes. The first was this. He said, "Don't ever hide your scars, for in them others will find healing." And the second quote was, "Don't waste your pain." You know, Dave could have hidden his brokenness. He could have hidden his scars. He could have hidden his pain, and no one would have blamed him, right? He could have just holed up in his house and never went outside again, afraid to allow people to look at him and see his scars. He could have stayed in a cave somewhere, choosing to live out the rest of his days, hidden from everyone because of the way he looked. But he didn't. Instead, Dave allowed Jesus to use his pain and his scars to bring hope and life to people around the world. And he's been doing that for over 5 decades now. The truth of the matter is that all of us experience pain and brokenness in our lives in some way or another. For some, it's in our relationships. For others, it's actually in our physical bodies. And for others, it can be in our mind and in our emotions. I don't know about you, but most of the time, I try to hide my pain because I don't want anyone else to know about it or see it. But Jesus doesn't want us to hide our pain. He wants us to bring our pain and our brokenness to Him so that He can heal us. He wants to heal us so that we can then help other people to find the same hope and the same healing that we found in Jesus. When you look at Dave Reaver, his outside body bears the ugly scars of that grenade. But you know what? On the inside, Dave has been healed from the pain of that event by Jesus. And because of that, he doesn't hide his scars. Instead, he openly allows others to see them so that they can find healing in Jesus like he did. Today, I want to encourage you, instead of hiding your scars and your brokenness, why don't you take them to Jesus and allow Him to heal you? And then allow other people to see and know what you've gone through so you can bring them hope. I guess what I'm saying to you today is, don't waste your pain. The work that Jesus wants to do in your life isn't just for you. It's meant, like that scripture I started off reading to you, it's meant for you to share with others who are going through difficult times, maybe relationally, physically, or emotionally, so they can be healed. You see, our community, the place you work, your neighborhood is filled with people who are living in pain and they're looking for hope. So share the story of how God has worked in your life so they can find hope. Well, I encourage you to join us this Sunday as we continue our current series called Out of the Cave, which is on emotional health. And as always, thanks for tuning in and have a great day.